From a population of close to 50 million Kenyans, only about 6 million Kenyans file their tax returns. This low compliance means that most Kenyans are yet to comply and others are yet to be included in the tax bracket. To address the issue, the Kenya Revenue Authority has been taking up initiatives to close this gap. Last year, the taxman announced the opening of a 3-year window named the Voluntary Tax Disclosure Program to give the non-compliant an opportunity to declare their taxes for the past 5 years. The program started in January 2020 and will run to 2023. During this period, the taxman will lift the principal and interest that have accrued on your taxes for the past 5 years and only pay what you owe the taxman. Let's say it's like getting forgiven for your sins.
Those who are not been able to declare their taxes, because we are in the era of self-assessment, and the self-assessment means what you have declared after the business. Commissioner and KRIS will take that to be the truth unless we prove otherwise. For now, when there is someone who has not come out, we are now telling everybody, come out and we will deal with you in a very friendly manner. If you apply within the first year, that is 2021, you will benefit a waiver of up to 100% of the interest and the penalties. If you apply in the second year, which is 2022, you will enjoy 50%. And if you do it in the third year, 2023, which will be the end of the program, you will enjoy 25%. If you don't come up, KRA will now use their machinery and we will move from facilitation to enforcement.
Francis Kamau, a tax partner at Ernst & Young, says this has worked before. However, it will require a lot of transparency from both parties, the taxpayer and the taxman.
What we had in what used to call Section 123B of Income Tax Act, which was done in 2003, it worked marvelous. And one of the things which happened is that government collected a lot of money from the process. And how it worked was because of a few things I'll mention. Number one, it was trust. The taxpayer then had a lot of trust with the taxman. The other particular part was transparency. The commissioners then, there was a lot of transparency whereby they could do items and adjudicate processes within the law. So we should be asking ourselves where after 17 years, we still trust the taxman and whether there is transparency in the process.
This program is touching all the exchequer tax heads. This includes all income taxes, PAYE, corporation tax, individual taxes, VAT, withholding tax. So any tax that goes to the exchequer. What it will not touch are ancillary taxes, such as standard levy, and that one is not included in this. Anybody who is supposed to pay tax in Kenya, because if you are a foreigner and you are supposed to pay the taxes in Kenya, then you also qualify, because we are not talking about your origin. If you are a foreigner and you are supposed to pay tax, and for one reason or another, you failed to declare in the first 5 years, and you are still in Kenya, then we have no reason to lock you out.
Except the taxes which we call custom and international trade. Those are outside the tax amnesty, or what we are calling VTDP. The other one is a person who has had in a certain year of income gone through a KRA audit or received an assessment. So we might have Francis Kamau seated here, was actually had an assessment by KRA in 2019. So 2019 out, you can apply for the other years which you are not assessed by Kenya Revenue Authority.
Since these taxpayers will declare, they will not declare for the last 5 years and go back into non-declaration. Now we will have expanded our tax base.
The reality around that in terms of the process of making this application is consistency. You cannot basically come declare your past problems or tax liabilities for the last 5 years and then you say everything is now hunky-dory. You can't do that. You basically have to come with a mindset of complying going forward. You will not basically treat it as an event. You treat it as a process which is progressing, and subsequently you proceed filing returns and declare revenues the way you did in the 5 years we had a VTDP.
However, experts warn that this might take time.
The processing by Kenya Revenue Authority might take a little longer. So that one might actually have a drawback in terms of implementing that, because they might take maybe even 3 years to process some taxpayers who did it in 2021, then the process drags on up to 2024, which is unfortunate. Number 2 is transparency. Here I have come, and there's an item which for corporation tax I did not declare. I come and declare it, but I have losses. Are you guys going to use that particular loss to offset? The other aspect is that I did not pay PAYE in a certain year, 2017, but in the same year, I had made an error to overpay tax. Are you going to assist me to offset that? Is what I'm calling transparency. The benefits of amnesty in terms of individual, one of them is to be forgiven all your sins of the yesteryears in terms of penalties and interest. I'll basically paraphrase it. In 2018, you did not declare 100,000 Kenya shillings. Once you come and declare and you pay 100,000, the Kenya Revenue Authority, for example, if the penalty was 20%, they're not going to charge you 20,000 and assume the interest, which is 1% of every month, is computed maybe to a 16%, then you're not going to pay tax on that. So in total, out of 100, you are supposed to pay 20 and 16. So that is 136. You pay only 100,000, the government forgives you the penalties of 20,000 and interest of 16,000. So it's a good process whereby you save money going forward in terms of penalties and interest. Number 2, you don't have to have another audit in that particular year unless you fail to declare all the material facts, as they are calling it, under paragraph 4 of section 37D of Tax Procedures Act. If you declare everything, nobody will come to do an assessment. So convenience, a lot of convenience. The other particular aspect is that you actually handle your own tax affairs without intervention.